सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
41. तमिन्द्र इत्याहुरन्ये नाम्नः पारोक्षसिद्धये पूज्यस्य देवत्रादेः परोक्षं नाम हि प्रियम्। The Jnani is called Idandraha. Why? Idam means Brahma, and Draha because he has got Aparoksha Darshana. The one who has got Aparoksha Darshana, the direct cognition of Idam, the Brahma, is called as what? Idandraha. And that Idandraha, grammatically, some people have made to give an indirect name, not to take the direct name of such a revered person who is a Jnani, so it has been shortened as Indraha. Why? Pujas like Deva, Pitrus, parents, etc. are not addressed directly by their name. Some nickname, some indirect name is used for respect, so therefore Idandra has become Indraha. Even otherwise, this Indra name can be justified for a Jnani etymologically. Even if you take not this way, Idandraha, then shortened to Indraha for Jnani. Directly, a Jnani can be called as Indraha if you take into account etymological derivation of this word Indra. Indra word comes from a root Ind, Indati. First person, so first conjugation, Parasmay Pada. Inda, Indati. The meaning of Ind is given in Dhatu Patha like Idi Paramaishwarye. Idi Paramaishwarye means Id Indati. This Dhatu means Paramaishwarye, to have great power. Parama Aishwarya. Aishwarya is not wealth. Ishana Shilatvam, overlordship. Mastery over everything. Parama Aishwarya means the overlordship on everything, means to have great power. Idi Parama Aishwarya means to have great power. It is the meaning of the verb Ind, Indati, that is to have great power. To that, a grammatical suffix ran is added. So ind plus ran becomes Indati iti Indraha. Indati iti Indra means one who has got great powers, one who has got overlordship, he is called as Indra. To whom it can apply? Ishvara. Ishvara alone the one who has got overlordship. So therefore Indra means actually Ishvara. So now Jnani in reality is identical with whom? Ishvara. Not that a Jnani is wielding the Maya power of Ishvara, but the Jnani Swarupa is Parameshwar Swarupa, Brahma only, which he has directly discovered. What about Ajnani Swarupa? Ajnani Swarupa also is what? Parameshwara Swarupa only, but he has not discovered, whereas the Jnani has discovered, and therefore it is apt to call the Jnani as who? Indraha, Parameshwara himself. So therefore Indra means overlord. A Jnani being Parameshwara Swarupa, not that he is wielding Maya power, but being Parameshwara Swarupa, which he has discovered. Others also are so, but Jnani has discovered. It can be said that the word Indra directly points out to whom? A Jnani. Whereas Devadhipati Indraha is because he is the overlord of all the gods, therefore he is called Indra. Or maybe a Indra name given to him. Indra name given to him by the parents. That's also possible. Indraha. So that is now pointed out That Indra word is befitting to a Jnani. Parameshvara Rupatvad Apindratvamihochitam Samapta Brahma Vidyeyam Uttamasyadhikarinaha. Parameshvara Rupatvad, add Jnaninaha, Indratvam api, Iha, after Iha, add again, add Vaktum, Iha Vaktum Uchitam. Parameshvara Rupatvat, add Jnaninaha, Indratvam api, Iha, add Vaktum Uchitam. Uttamasya Adhikarinaha, Iyam Brahma Vidya Samapta. Says, Parameshvara Rupatvat, Jnaninaha. Jnani being Parameshvara Swarupa. Because Parameshvara Swarupa means everyone is Parameshvarupa, but Jnani has discovered. Because he has discovered his Swarupa to be Parameshvara. So therefore, Indratvam api. Even the status of Indra means calling him with Indra because he has got the status of Indra. Api, even that status of Indra. So Iha means in the context of Jnani, Paradjnani, Vaktum Uchitam. To say so, Uchitam means Yogyam. It is befitting. Means it is apt to call a Jnani Indra because he is Parameshvara Swarupa. With this, he says Brahma Vidya is over. Job is over. Adhyaropa Apavada. So, Atma vai idamagra asi. Before the creation, what was there? Atma only was there. But to make us know what Atma, directly we can't know. Adhyaropa, the superimposition of the creation was effected. It was Apavada, negated. What remains is only Atma. Brahma Vidya over. Still you are looking. Kam ho gaya. But for whom Brahma Vidya over? In Aitareya Upanishad, with this teaching, Brahma Vidya is over. But, always buts are there. No? But for whom? For such person. Whom it is? Uttamasya adhikarinaha iyam Brahma Vidya samapta. For Uttama Adhikari. So for those who are Uttama Adhikaris, who have got very good eligibility to gain Brahma Vidya, who are those? Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannaha. Those who have got staunch Sadhana Chatush Sampatti, who have got Amanitvadi values, Durita, Kshaya, all these are there. Mashuddha Antakarna. For such people, teaching is enough. So therefore it says, Uttamasya Adhikarinaha. So what is an Iyam? Iyam means what was taught so far. What was taught so far? Brahma Vidya. What is that Brahma Vidya? Brahmatmaikyam Brahma Vidya Pratipadyam. Brahma Vidya, what does it unfold? Brahmatmaikya. Atma is identical with Brahma. Atma is same as Brahma. So this Brahma Vidya, which directly points out your Swarupa as nothing but Brahma Swarupa in terms of direct cognition, that Brahma Vidya Samapta is over. And what about the remaining portion? Not remaining portion of who? Anubhuti Prakasha written by Vidyaranya. Aitareya Upanishad also continues, and therefore who has continued? Vidyaranya Muni has continued. What is there in the remaining portion of Aitareya Upanishad? There, what is there is only Vivarana, that is the further elaboration of the same Brahma Vidya for other varieties of adhikaris. Who are those? Manda, Madhyama adhikaris. So those are dull adhikaris, means staunch. This means very powerful preparation in terms of sadhana ashtya sampatti is not there. Madhyama adhikaris means Something is there, sometimes something vairagya is there, other times it gets evaporated, means not totally ready for such persons. So further elaboration of Brahma Vidya continues to point out where in spite of the teaching that they have not got Brahma Vidya, what does it indicate? Mind is not yet ready. And what is that deficiency in the mind that because of which it is not ready? First and foremost thing that is lacking is you know now. So you have come now. Finally you have come. This is what Vedanta. Vedanta is very good, but one thing, it goes round and round, finally crystallizes where? Vairagya. I don't know what sadistic pleasure these people get. Why should they deprive us little joy here and there we get? This is where Shraddha is required. Who is telling this? Shruti, Upanishad. So who knows what is in store if this is continued? But immediate steps are painful. Whereas in old style, immediate steps are what? Pleasure, that means pleasant. They give the joy, etc. Whereas that is what Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says. That is, what is that term? Yat tadagre vishamiva pariname amrutopam. Yat tadagre amrutopamam pariname vishamiva. So we are in the pleasures which are yat tadagre amrutopamam. Pleasures, as they obtain now, they are nectarine. Pariname vishamiva. So painful. Whereas now Upanishads, etc., what they point out? They point out the steps. Yat tadagre vishamiva. Very difficult. But if you develop that viveka vairagya, in course you are discovering your swarupa, pariname amrutopamam. Once forever you are free from this sorrowful samsara, discovering yourself to be nothing but ananda swarupa. So that's why efforts are required. To put forth efforts, first conviction is required. So vairagya, why vairagya is not there? Vairagya is not there because we have not properly assessed the objects, beings and events in the world which we consider that they have got capacity to give us the joy. Now he points out it is not so. How they are that means deficient. How they have got the defect. They don't have the capacity to give what we want. On the contrary, they are not full of sorrow only. This is now being pointed out because in spite of this teaching, if the person has not got the knowledge, it shows the mind is not yet ready, and from that standpoint, that vairagya has to be emphasized. Now starts vairagya prakarana. For Atma Jnana, many sadhanas may be there. Mukhya sadhana is vairagya. Viragasya bhavaha. That is the disposition wherein viraga means that absence of hankering for the vishayas is there. That is what is vairagya. So that he says now, in Atma Jnana, mukhya sadhana is vairagya. Atma Jnanasya mukhyam sadhanam vairagyam. So that being the case, now the exposition on this vairagya starts. Where it starts? Aitariya Upanishad. Don't think that Vidyaranya Muni has added something on his own. It is there in the Aitariya Upanishad only. So in that first defect, the prominent defect is pointed out. What is that prominent defect? Birth, Janma. Janma is the greatest defect. They say even Janma is the most torturous thing. To take birth is the most painful thing. Why? Birth means you have to undergo 9 months in where? Mother's womb. And that period, they say, is the most torturous period. If you refer to, I have told this earlier also, Adhyatma Ramayana Kishkinda Kanda. Chandra Muni is telling to Sampati. Sampati is brother of Jatayu, younger brother of Jatayu. So Sampati, younger brother of Jatayu. So to him he is telling how exactly that fetus develops, and when it gains the consciousness, that means torturous condition it undergoes, and it seems it remembers all the past things. And seeing and undergoing the torture, it decides this is not worth the gain. Means the Janma Marana Rupa Samsara is not worth undergoing. Therefore, what will I do? Moment I take the birth, I will take Vishnu's Smarana and will get rid of Samsara. When in the womb, movement comes out, Ire Maja Maglaya. Good. After that traumatic condition of coming out, everything is what? Earlier things are forgotten and good old things continue. So that is what is said. Anyway, but it is something which is torturous condition. Beside that, even that Janma is so disgusting. That is now being pointed out. Let us see. Viraktasyokta bodhasyat Vairagyam dosha darshana Janmaiva pratamo doshaha Bibhatsa nirupyate Ukta bodhaha viraktasya syat. Ukta bodhaha viraktasya syat. Dosha darshanat vairagyam syat. Again syat. Dosha darshanat vairagyam syat. Pratamaha doshaha janma eva. Pratamaha doshaha janma eva. Tad bibhatsa nirupyate. Tad bibhatsa nirupyate. The knowledge that was imparted till now, what is Brahma Vidya, who can gain it? Only such persons can gain. That is Uttamasya Adhikarinaga was told. Who are those Uttama Adhikari? Ukta bodhaha viraktasya sya. One who has got virakti, vairagya only can gain the earlier bodha. Virakti is upalakshana for rest of the sadhanas that are required to gain the knowledge, but prominent being virakti. And if vairagya is there, and if the person is virakta, other sadhanas are easy to accomplish. So therefore, virakta ukta bodhaha viraktasya syat. So it is, for whom it is? Viraktasya, a vairagi only can gain. Now the question is, how can we gain vairagya? How to develop vairagya? This is the method. How is that? Dosha darshanat vairagyam syat. Dosha darshanat, by seeing the defective nature of the Vishayas, so what it can be developed? What is born is vairagya. Why we run after Vishayas? We have got a notion that they can give us happiness. Find out the defects. Truly, not only they don't have the capacity to give the happiness that we think we can get from that, on the contrary, they are the sources of positive sorrow. Better discover on your own. Of course, Adhyatma Shastra can guide you to discover this fact, but you have to discover on your own. So therefore, it says, Dosha darshanad vairagyam syat. By seeing the defective nature of the Vishaya, vairagya can be developed. And therefore now, what is the first and foremost defect? Pratamaha doshaha janma eva. Very beginning point is the greatest defect. Janma means our birth of our present embodiment. Present embodiment and earlier embodiment without dosha. All embodiment. Any birth of the embodiment itself is a great defect, means it is nothing but, so it is a full of sorrows and something disgusting thing. So therefore he says, Pratamaha dosha, the first and foremost defect is Janma eva, that is Janma only. Therefore, Tad Bibhatsa, see there in your book, Tad and Bibhatsa, join it. It is a compound. This is because of computers, you know. They could, that the and bha, they could not join. They stated an easier way they did. That nether stroke and b is correct. It is correct, but it is joined. It is not tad and this is the shashti tatpurush. It is tasya bibhatsa tad bibhatsa. Tasya means kasya janmanaha. Tasya janmanaha bibhatsa tad bibhatsa. So therefore, so nirupyate, explain. What is bibhatsa? Disgusting nature, loathsome nature, aberrant nature. The janma itself is something which is highly disgusting, loathsome, aberrant. So that is what tasya janmanaha bibhatsa. Such disgusting nature of the birth, janma itself is now being described. How? Let us see now. How this guy is being born. Before birth, where was he? Somewhere was there. Where? Some embodiment. Maybe heavenly embodiment or hellish embodiment. Whatever it means. We don't know. But somewhere, either of the two. Or some animal embodiment also. And the very fact he is going to be born here means that embodiment cast off. Because with that embodiment here he can't be born. What is that? No, not that. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like that. That night one role and daytime other role, you can't do that. So sometimes we take that embodiment, afterward this embodiment, no. Only one embodiment at one time. That's fine. So therefore it says, so that casting the earlier embodiment, the new embodiment is being taken. How is taken? In Aitareya Upanishad, in some, that before this portion starts, there is a phrase, apakramantu garbhinyaha. It is in some manuscript, in some it is not there. Whether it is the original Upanishad or some masters have added in between, we don't know. Apakramantu garbhinyaha. The forthcoming portion is when it starts, the teacher says from the audience, if any pregnant ladies are there, please leave the audience. Apakramantu garbhinya. Garbhini means a lady who is carrying. So please leave the audience. And when this portion is over, yathasthanam garbhinyaha, means those garbhini ladies who are pregnant, they can take their seat, means they can continue the audience. This shows two things. Whether it is there in the original Upanishads or subsequent manuscripts added by some masters, it shows two things. Number one, even Garbhini means lady or not, whether she is Garbhini or not Garbhini, she is a lady. Ladies also were exposing to the teaching of Brahma Vidya. Number one, pakka, proof. Okay. Means not that they were denied of it, that no time they were denied. Even Brihadaranyaka itself is a proof. Gargi etc. were what? Arguing with none other than who? Yajnavalkya. So that is so. So this also shows ladies were equally attending the Brahma Vidya discourses. One thing. Number two, why it is not told? What? That is, Striyaha apakramantu is not told. Let ladies vacate the audience, not told. Only Garbhinyaha apakramantu. Why so? Here is one, that is what is called as, presently called as prenatal education. Prenatal education. Why? The teacher, the master who is giving Aitareya Upanishad knows the immediate forthcoming portion has some connection with procreation. So because it has got some connection with something minds of procreation, Garbhinyaha should not be there. Why? When they expose this, automatically a thought of a lustful thought may come in the mind of the would-be mother, which is not desirable. Do you know why? There is a child inside, and the thinking of the mother, what does it do? It designs the texture of the mind of the child in the womb. Think of it. Means what mother thinks, what mother does has got a bearing on that means the condition of the mind of the child that is going to be born. So that child should not have such thing. It should be a very good child, so that such possibility are eliminated by asking them to leave the audience. Today they say West boasts of prenatal education. They have done something. They say this certain mothers, experimentation, they were exposed to a particular music when they were in the carrying period. After it is found that when the same music is played, the crying child also gets specified at with all rapt attention, the child listens to that. Again, a crying child, when the mother takes on the chest, this is common. It gets specified. Do you know why? They say the mother's heartbeat, it is accustomed with. It knows the mother's heartbeat. And when the child is taken on the chest, it listens what? The familiarity of the heartbeat. Again, the child, that means the father was asked and speak something, and it was taped. And mother was asked to speak something and taped. And when the when the parents are not there, child crying, etc., they played. When the mother's voice comes, it responds, not the father's. Why? Because all along that it is very familiar with the mother's voice. Like this, they show that means what is being done. That means that is when the mother is pregnant, and that is whatever she thinks, same thing has got a capacity to have the bearing on the mind of the child. This is what they have discovered. It is true also. It is nothing wrong. Whereas, as far as our culture is concerned, this was practiced from ancient times. You know, a mother not exposed to all rubbish things. During such period, what should you do? All spiritual things only has to be taken to. Why? For this purpose. To inculcate good samskaras in the child's mind. That was one thing, is it not? We know other thing. Puranas you might have heard. When Prahlada was in the womb, do you know what Narada did? He took all the ladies in that, including Prahlada's mother, to a hermitage and kept them. And in the hermitage, what is going on every day? Satsang is available, because he knows Hiranyakashipu's house, what will be the condition, etc., what demonic samskaras will get inculcated. So he did it. Abhimanyu, you know Abhimanyu case? What was that? Poor fellow. Only half Chakravyuha he could get, not the full as such. So that being the case. So prenatal education was a matter of common practice as far as our culture is concerned. Though they might have with this such thing they have discovered now, that is true, that's good something, but it has got a bearing. Nowadays, India itself, forget the West. Exposure to what? All the rubbish on the channel TV. And afterward, younger generation is like that. Who is to be blamed? Why blame them? It should start from where? Not even after birth. It should start from the womb itself. It should start from the womb itself. The mother should have that control and must be aware that it is going to, that means, affect the mental texture of the child. That's why such things should be avoided. Even eatings, etc., have to be regulated because it has got a bearing on the child. So, say there, apakramantu garbhinyaha. In that, until that particular portion gets over, it is said, please, Garbhinis, please leave the audience. When it is over, again there is a statement, Yathasthanam Garbhinya. Please take your seats again, which shows that prenatal education was a matter of common practice. And now, what happens to this guy now? Let us see. This individual is going to take the birth. From where was he earlier? Either somewhere in Swarga or Naraka or some animal embodiment somewhere or other. That embodiment is caste. And that embodiment caste means the locus suksharira is traveling to take the next embodiment. And here it is human embodiment. We are talking of discussing a human embodiment. So it is taking how it comes, how it takes the body, let us see. Swargadva narakadvayam pravishya pitaram tatra garbho bhavati retasi narakadvayam, sandhi breaking, you take that. Narakad va ayam. Narakad va ayam. Then sandhi vrishti anna samstitaha. Vrishti anna samstitaha. Vrishti anna samstitaha. Anvaya now. Ayam swargadva narakadva vrishti anna samstitaha pitaram pravishya tatra retasi garbha bhavati. Pitaram pravishya tatra retasi garbha bhavati. Ayam means who? This person who is going to take the birth. This jiva who is going to take the birth. Earlier he was where? Either in the Swarga or Naraka or any other embodiment. Swargadva, Narakadva. Either he was in the heaven or hell, or any animal embodiment, etc., whatever it may be. And it is obvious now he has cast off, that person has cast off the earlier embodiment and now coming here. So then how does he come? That Suksharira is coming, that locus, Suksharira with all his samskaras based on karma phalas, upasana phalas and other samskaras. So how does he come? Narakad, either from heaven or hell or from any other embodiment. Vrishti anna samstitaha. Through the rain. They say, first in the clouds, and they say the condition of the jiva at that time is as in the swoon. A person who has fainted is not aware of what is happening. That is the condition there. So that jiva, the Suksharira, Chandogya it is there. In Chandogya you can find it. So in the condition of faint, swoon as such is there, and the Suksharira locus comes through the clouds, then the rain falls. With that what comes? Suksharira, no, that's Suksharira locus of the jiva comes, Suksharira. So then what happens? From the rain through the soil to plant, etc., vegetation, food, rice, wheat, whatever it may be. Therefore it says, Vrishti anna samstitaha. Anna samstita, what is anna samstita? Anne samstitaha. Abides in anna, remains in food. Food means rice, wheat or vegetable, whatever it may be, sasya. From that sasya, not non-vegetarian. Non-vegetarian, yes. Do you know how? First vegetation and then they eat. So that's how it is. It is okay. In anna, it is possible. From that, that's all. Somebody is eating the meat, goat. That goat has eaten some leaves or something. Through that it has gone. That way it is possible. Vrishti dvara anna samsitaha means what? Anne samsitaha. Then what happens? Anna samsita. After anna samsita, you can add bhujyamana tadanna dvara. From earlier embodiment through the cloud and the rain has come to the earth, from earth to the vegetation, the food, that now that through that food, and which food? Bhujyamana tadanna dvara. The anna, the food that is going to be eaten eaten. Annadvara. So what does it do? Pitaram pravishya. Pitaram means Pitru Shariram pravishya. Having entered the body of the would-be father. Pitaram pravishya means the body of the would-be father. They say, from this abidance in the food, from that condition, the entry to the would-be father's body is very, very difficult. It can be time consuming. Why? Food is eaten. But what can happen? Some brahmachari ate the food. Some sannyasi ate the food. Some 80 years old ate the food. No potential father at all. वो क्या हो गया? काम से गया. Waste. And what happens? It will be excreted, etc. Again from earth, he has to go to some other food. Again they say for punya is required for that. Otherwise, no, means the potential father must be there. It can't go to anyone else. So lady ate the food, काम नहीं चलेगा. Afterward, lady, it can be nurtured, but to first what is required is virya, semen is required of the Purusha, father. So they say it is a very, very difficult aspect to get the appropriate embodiment. But it's all programmed there when it goes there. So that is what is that? The vain attempts also may be there. Of course, attempt means no deliberate effort there. Why? The person is not aware of anything. All takdir ki baat hai. Takdir ki baat means karma phala prarabdha only. How it is a matter of chance as it were. You see, it is a time-consuming affair. It is a difficult thing to get an appropriate would-be father's body. But everything is programmed by karma phala, not that accidental thing. It is programmed by karma phala only. So therefore it says, Anna samstitaha bhujyamana tadanna dvara. Or at times the food can go waste also. That particular food where this Sukh Sharira was there can go waste, not eaten by anyone. Again it has to get decomposed and again from the earth it has to go in the food. So therefore, Bhujyamana tadanna dvara pitaram pravishya. Having entered the Pitru Sharira, father's body, what happens? Tatra. Tatra means Pitru Sharire, in the father's body. Retasi garbhaha bhavati. In the retasi, in the semen, saptama dhatu. The saptama dhatu, the semen, so it becomes garbha. Garbha means fetus, the child. Actually in the semen there is no fetus, there is no child. But that semen is going to be the garbha, the child, therefore garbhaha bhavati, the would-be child has entered there. So in that semen, the would-be child has entered. So therefore, retasi garbhaha bhavati. He becomes the child, the fetus he becomes. Tadreta pitrudehastham sarvangebhyah samuthitam pitusvadeho garbhakhya dehascheti vapurdvayam pitrudehastam tadretaha sarvangebhyah samuthitam. Sarvangebhyah samuthitam. Pituhu svadehaha garbhakhya dehascha iti vapurdvayam add bhavati. Pitrudehastham tadretaha sarvangebhyah samuthitam. That retas, what is that? That's semen. Where is it? Pitrudehastham, abiding, available in the father's body, that reader. From where has it come? Sarvangebhyaha samuthitam. It is born means it is samuthitam, born from, arisen from sarvangebhya, entire body. It is the essence of the entire body of who? Father. For details, refer to Ayurveda. Okay. I don't know what allopathy has to say, I don't know. Modern medical science, I don't know. But this dhatus, etc., it is the essence of the Father's entire body. Samuthitam, born from there. So this way means the semen is nothing but the essence of Father's body. This gives it makes clear one fact. Now, the Father has got two bodies. One existing body, other a miniature body. A miniature of the body that is going to be born, whom we call as son or the daughter of the child that is going to be born. The locus has got formed there. And from where it has come? From the Father's essence of the Father's body. So therefore it says, Pituhu swadehaha, means in the case of Father now, he has got two bodies now. Swadeha, the existing body, then Garbhakhya dehascha, the body of the child to be born. And how is it now? In the form of Virya. Just that locus, my miniature has already come into existence. Why? Who has entered there? A Suksharira who is going to take the embodiment has already entered there. So therefore, Swadeha Garbhakhya dehascha means a deha called Garbha. Actually, still it is not Garbha. Fetus, you can say, after that is what the conception. But this is before conception, only in the form of semen is there. Yet, because it is going to be so, it is called as the Garbha, because a would-be child is there. So, Garbhakya called as Garbha, Dehascha iti, that body of the child to be born. So, Vapurdvayam bhavati. The father is who has got now two bodies. What is going to be shown is the son or daughter, whatever it may be, is nothing but father only. You see, where is mother? Afterwards we'll see, okay. that role is going to come. That role is going. Mother's role is to tend that. But the essence is from where? Virya, the father. That is. That been the case. Thus, that is that retas, which is the essence of father's body, is as good as a miniature of his body, which is going to grow. So vapur dvayam bhavati. Then what happens? Still it is where in whose body it is? Father's body only. Striyam sinchati tadretasti tadretaha tatputrotpadanam pituhu putra rupena tajjanma pituradyam swayam krutam. Now remember, okay, that Reta is who? Miniature, father only. That's very important. Afterwards will be seen. That means very such something which is disgusting can be seen afterwards. Tad retaha striyam sinchati. Tad retaha striyam sinchati. Tat pituhu putrotpadanam. Tat pituhu putrotpadanam. Putra rupena tajjanma pituhu adyam swayam krutam. Putra rupena tajjanma. पितुः आद्यम स्वयं कृतम tad retaha, that retas, that semen, what the father does, striyam sinchati, places in the stri, means wife. So places in the wife. So procreation. So places in the wife, striyam sinchati. And tat means this act of sinchana, this act of placing the semen in the wife's womb. So that is that act, pituhu putrotpadanam, is the begetting of the son on the part of the father. Still the child is not born. So the first step has already taken place. So therefore, the pituhu putrotpadanam is the begetting of the son on the part of the father. So father. And the one who is going to be born, who is he? Who is he? Father himself. Why? That Retas is who? Father. That's why it is the essence of the entire body of the father. So therefore, the Putra is going to be born is who? None other than Father himself. So therefore it says, Putra raupena tajjanma. So that birth, now remember, still birth has not taken place. Still birth has not, even tending also has not taken place. Only that Sinchana act only has taken place. But still it is considered act as because now the child is going to be born. So that's why I say tajjanma. Tajjanma means Reto rupena reta sekakale sthanan nirgamanam. So what is that tajjanma? Only the semen has come out of father's body and entered the mother's womb. That's all. That itself is what? Janma. Because that is the first act necessary for the birth of the child. Tajjanma. Putra rupena tajjanma pituhu. You can say, tad pituhu putra rupena tad adyam janma swayam kritam. You can take that. It is like this. Pituhu putra rupena tad adyam janma swayam kritam. This is the first birth of the father in the form of who? Putra, the son. What do you mean by Janma here? Actual Janma, birth has not taken place. Manifestation. The father has now again got manifest for the first time in the form of the son. But it is how still the child is to be developed. Swayam kritam, brought forth by himself. This birth of father in the form of the son for the first time is effected by himself. Why Swayam Kritam? Still the mother is to tend the child. Because just only what is there? That Reta Seka, the Sinchana act only has taken place. Further development has not yet taken place. The tending by the mother is yet to take place. So therefore, Swayam Kritam Janma Bhavati. This is the first birth effected by father for himself in the form of who? The son. So that is. Then what happens? What happens to this Retas in the mother's womb? Yoshid yonim pravishayam. Yoshid garbhe sputi bhavet. Yoshid virviryena pushtosau. Taddehenaikatam rajet. Ayam Yoshid yonim pravishya. Yoshid garbhe sputi bhavet. Yoshid garbhe sputi bhavet. Asau Yoshid viryena pushtaha. asau yoshid virena pushtaha taddehena ekatam vraje. Taddehena ekatam vraje. I am. Who is this person now? Keep all in mind. Where started? That jiva who wanted to take the embodiment has entered the father's body, and the virya, which the essence of the father's body, is a miniature of father's body, and now in the womb of the mother, the first janma is already manifestation. Janma means manifestation is already effected by father himself without the mother, but already it is placed there. So now that one I am, who is in the form of that now, that virya as a son, miniature of his father, I am yoshid yonim pravishya, having entered the yoni, the womb of the yoshid, the mother, having entered the womb of the wife here, lady, that is the womb of the wife, the mother, would-be mother. So yonim pravishya, having entered, what happens to that? Yoshid garbhi, in the womb of that yoshid lady, sputi bhavi, it manifests. It starts manifesting, means it starts growing now. How it grows? Asau, that son now, who is father himself, yoshid viryena pushtaha, is nourished by yoshid virya. Earlier it was pituhu virya, now matuhu virya. Mother's virya means ovam. That is nourished by ovam. So viryena pushtaha. What happens to that? Tad dehena ekatam vraje. It becomes one, it becomes the part and parcel of tad deha, means who? That lady's body. What is ekatam vraje? It is not existing there as something foreign in nature. That virya with that is ovum, that semen with the ovum, becomes part and parcel of the mother's body and doesn't remain as something that is foreign to the body. You know what will happen if something foreign to the body? Either it will be thrown out or it will do harm to the body. Next stanza is going to point out. This body is a very strange thing. You know, let one small speck of dust enter your eyes. No. You see why? Tears are rolling down. Why? What for? To throw it out. Throw it out. That's like that. Like the ocean. You know the ocean? Ocean is so vast, but will never accommodate anything other than itself. You know what happened to Dakshinamurti? Not our Mr. Dakshinamurti. So, Lord Dakshinamurti was having a stroll on the beach. And in the ocean, there was a twig. And he was just all observing eyes. This ocean, wave by wave, wave by wave, wave by wave, slowly brought that and threw the twig where? On the beach. Dakshinamurti was enraged. What? You are so vast. You don't have that much of courtesy to accommodate only a single twig. And he got angry and he was about to curse. Sagara Rajavad came to know. He came and held the feet of Dakshinamurti. Bhagavan, please excuse me. It is true, it is only one twig. If I accommodate like one twig and all these things, tomorrow what will be? I will be nothing but rubbish here. If you have doubt, see Bombay Beach, okay? See Bombay Beach. So how much, no, don't think Bombay Beach is accommodative. What I say, how much rubbish is thrown on the beach. How it comes there? People only have thrown. Like that, if the ocean were to accommodate and contain all that rubbish, it will be another big garbage can. It will be big garbage can. So Bhagavan, please excuse me. Otherwise I will not exit. Dakshinamurti saw the point. So he said, true. Like that. So we have got one mind antakarna. Even small rubbish thing you accommodate, afterwards what will happen? It will be another garbage can. So therefore all other unwanted thoughts, etc., they should be nipped in the bud itself. So that is how it is. No? Because Dakshinamurti, by being what it is, he took a lesson. He said, yes, that is true. So that being the case, this body also is like that. It will not tolerate any foreign thing. That's why fever comes for what? You know, it means something has entered and the army is there. White blood cells army goes at it. In the cartoons they point out that time they were the white blood cells like as if army is attacking, etc. Something has entered there. That's what it is. So this body cannot tolerate it, and as a result, what has happened? Temperature has gone up. Actually, temperature means what? Some cleansing process is taking place in the body. So that is fine. Like that. Here is something, cement that has come. If it still as a foreign thing it remains, what will that happen? It is bound to harm the body. So therefore what happens? The device of Ishvara is such, what is that? He has made such device that along with the virya of the, that is Yoshit virya, it becomes the part and parcel of the body as not something extraneous to the body. That is told. Anyathainam striyam hanyat gulma vyadhivadantaraha swangavanna hinastenam garbham rakshati satataha anyatha gulma vyadhivad antaraha ad garbhaha enam striyam hanyat antaraha ad garbhaha enam striyam hanyat swangavat enam nahinasti swangavat enam nahinasti tataha sa garbham rakshati tataha sa garbham rakshati. So that deha, what happens to that retas? Taddehena ekatam raje. It becomes part and parcel with that lady, means the mother. So anyatha, if not so, means if that retas, that putra who is going to take the janma, doesn't become part and parcel with the mother, do you know what will happen? Gulma vyadhivat antaraha garbha. That fetus that is there in the womb of the mother, if it is still something separate from the body of the mother, gulma vyadhivat. Gulma vyadhi means the chronic enlargement of the spleen. The chronic enlargement of the spleen, which is disastrous for the person. So therefore, gulma vyadhivat, what will it do? Enam striyam hanya, will kill this woman. Will kill this one. If it is something separate from that and not part and parcel of that, will kill the woman. Because something is getting enlarged, no, like a tumor. Like a tumor, it is getting enlarged, so it will kill the woman. But what has happened now? It doesn't. Why? It has become like a part of one's own body, like your hand, leg, other limbs. It has become one and it doesn't kill. That is what is told in the second line. And therefore, the lady means the mother nourishes the child. And who is that child? That jiva, no doubt. But actually, body-wise, who? You have to keep this in mind. Afterwards, you'll see what is the consequence of that. Okay.
Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahimahesha गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि